Coming up on today's program, uncertain futures and new futures determined. I'm Jerry Kenny. This is WYSO Weekend. As always, thanks for sharing your weekend with WYSO. Coming up later in the program, we've got Veterans Voices and the return of We Outside. Up first, this past Friday was the day when work permits expired for Haitian and Syrian immigrants in the U.S. under temporary protected status. An estimated 12,000 to 15,000 Haitian people live in the Springfield area. Many are here under TPS. The date had some of them plugging into the city's Haitian Support Center to figure out what options they had. WYSO's Catherine Mobley visited that center earlier this week.
James Florgine welcomes a Springfield resident into the Haitian Support Center. The man is Haitian and has questions about his immigration papers. The man is in the U.S. on temporary protected status. We're not sharing his name because he fears being targeted by ICE and deported. Florgine is the center's administrative assistant. He calls the hotline at the Department of Homeland Security for an update on the man's case.
The immigration judge administratively closed your case at
3535 Lawton Road, Suite 200, Orlando, Florida, 32803.
On July 31st, 2024.
What is this gentleman's issue?
Okay, his issue is that, like, when he came, he had an asylum.
When he came to the United States?
Yeah, he applied for an asylum, and he also had TPS. So when he went to his first hearing, the judge said that you have two cases, you have to close one of them, which he was not supposed to say to him, because if you have TPS, you have to close your asylum, because there's no, like, the TPS does not affect any other status that you have. Mm-hmm. This is an error. Maybe he didn't understand, because the language barrier is one of the biggest issue. The judge closed the asylum, and he was on that TPS, and then TPS ends. He doesn't have either one now. He doesn't have the asylum, he doesn't have the TPS.
According to Florgine, the man's asylum application may be reconsidered. Florgine is also in this country on TPS. Early in July 2018, he had a plane ticket in hand to return to Haiti. But then assassins killed Haitian President Jovenel Moïse. Suddenly, he couldn't go home. He secured TPS and got a work permit. Eventually, a friend told Florgine about jobs in Springfield, drawing him to the city. He says he stayed because of the ongoing chaos and instability in his home nation. Last month, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled President Donald Trump can end temporary protected status for Haiti and for Syria. The Department of Homeland Security says conditions in Haiti have improved enough for citizens to safely return. Meanwhile, the State Department maintains a Level 4 travel advisory warning Americans to avoid the country due to widespread violence, kidnapping, civil unrest, and a poor healthcare system. Florgine says gang members have taken over his home in Port-au-Prince. He believes if he returned, his life would be in danger. Now he struggles to give those with the same status answers he doesn't have for himself.
And you just scan that QR code. What will that do?
It shows this is one of our beneficiary, and we have the information. So
at the Haitian Support Center, Florgine's duties include entering client information into the computer. The center partners with several attorneys who need these materials so they can help TPS holders navigate the U.S. immigration system. He also handles phone calls. Some are uncomfortable.
Now you people want to come here when this nation's already all built up and take advantage. No, you got to go back home and build up your nation and appreciate your country.
However, others are more encouraging.
When you see the building, like you drive to the back.
It's super close.
All right. Thank you. Waiting for you.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you.
This Columbus resident sought out the center to offer support.
So y'all have been on my heart for a minute. So anyway, I came today to see how I can help. This is just a way to serve God by taking care of people. And so I'll stand with y'all, honey.
Florgine says he's not afraid of ICE agents nor of being deported. He's more concerned with the city's many TPS holding Haitians not able to work and living in uncertainty. As we end our conversation, Florgine scans into his computer the picture of a young man applying for asylum. He flashes a confident smile.
So we keep going just because we are so resilient. For my country to hear people calling you all type of names, telling you all type of things, at the end of the day, you have to keep going.
Reporting for WYSO News, I'm Catherine Mobley.
For more of Catherine's reporting on this issue and other issues, check out our website at wyso.org.
So we're in one of the floors where we have our flat files, tens of thousands of blueprints and engineering drawings that every machine that was produced at NCR, we have these drawings.
The former Neal's Heritage House building on West Shantz Avenue in Dayton has been closed for years. But inside now, there's new life and a new mission. A much different mission than the restaurant and banquet center that first opened its doors in 1946. It will now serve as the Mark and Paula Hurd NCR Archive Center, operated by its new owners, Dayton History. On a recent tour of the facility, President and CEO Brady Kress talked about why they chose the building and the new mission being served there.
We saw this property. It's, of course, adjacent to Carillon Park, which is our headquarters and largest part of Dayton History. And it was right across the street from our property. And it came up for sale at one point, and we were interested in it and looked at it. And then part of the family came back and kind of reopened. People might remember that, reopened the restaurant for just a couple years. And then it was on the market again. And so we were hearing different ideas for the property, and we were concerned, one, about the mid-century modern building from an architectural preservation perspective. And then also, it was one way of getting off of Carillon's property, being adjacent to it. So we have the river on one side and UD on the other, and the Calvary Cemetery on the third side. Carillon's kind of a triangle. And so this was one way that was somewhat connected across the road to Carillon Park. So we found a donor who was willing to help us acquire the property, and we did so. And it took us a little longer to find the different donors to restore the property, abate the property, clean it all up, and then adaptively reuse it for the archive center. And the idea with that, we house our two-dimensional collections here, and we're still in the process of moving in. But what that means is all of our papers, our photos, the engineering notebooks, flat files, artwork, advertising work, all of those materials will be here. When you talk about a collection with 100,000 glass plate negatives, those are items that we can't really have the public come in and thumb through, right? They're very fragile. In addition, our archivists and our curatorial offices are here now. Cleaning those items, they're digitizing them, and then we're housing them here in different controlled environments for those particular items. So it's a true archive center.
So we're standing here in the lobby, and I can see you've got at least one cash register that has been brought across the street. And then I noticed there are obviously still signs of the Heritage House. How are you trying to balance what this building previously served as and what it will continue to serve as?
Great observation. So the whole idea with the building was to preserve the envelope and then preserve probably what most people remember and love about the building, which is this entryway and lobby and the flying staircase and the Tenderloin room. And so those pieces, the crystal chandelier as you walk into the Tenderloin room, and again, how many thousands of prom photos were taken in front of this staircase. So those items we preserved, and then we've outfitted the building in a mid-century modern fashion. And so the ads and so forth that are used on the walls throughout the building are NCR sales ads that we kind of used as decor, and they relate to the different time periods. So as you pointed out, there is a cash register here. This is just one of a few machines that will be in the archive. The focus here is the two-dimensional items. Now, folks that are familiar with the NCR collection know that we have 1,000 business machines that are also part of the collection. That is actually going to be part of a phase 2 that's going to be over at Carillon Park. We're thinking about it almost like a presidential library, where you oftentimes have the library itself with the presidential papers and small tokens, smaller artifacts, the photographs and so forth, and recordings and everything. That's this part of the project, the Heard Center. The second part of that is a museum complex. And that's where they're using some of those artifacts, some of the three-dimensional artifacts, to tell stories. Those three-dimensional pieces are going to be deployed over to Carillon Park and placed on exhibit for everybody to see every time they come through Carillon Park. So the research library and the museum interpretive center, those are the two phases, and that's how we're going to divide the collection.
Brady Kress, President and CEO of Dayton History. For WYSO Weekend, I'm Jerry Kenny. Up next on our program, We Outside returns this week for a new season. Community Voices producer Trey Grace continues exploring Black joy and belonging in the outdoors. We begin by reconnecting with two people from last season to see what has changed and what still hasn't.
He's playful, yeah.
Hey, this is Trey Grace, and I'm back for a new season of We Outside. New last name, same mission. We're centering Black joy, belonging, and community outside. But this season, I've been thinking even more about why this matters. I went for a bike ride on the Bison Trail with AJ Boyce and Willie Franklin.
Oh, look at you run.
Look at you go. Oh, two of you run.
You may remember them from last season. I wanted to check back in after our conversation that reminded me that being outside doesn't feel the same for everyone, and see what shifted.
It's just like this intensification due to the fact that there's just so much that can damper our spirits going on right now.
When I talked to AJ last season, he was already thinking about how to get more people outside.
Where we really need something, we really need to have ourselves invested in our own communities and invest in our own well-being if we're going to be able to make it out to the other end of these things in a healthy way.
When we arrived to the event to meet up with each other, there was a very large crowd, and there were three of us, 3 people of color, even with bikes provided, even with the space wide open for a free event.
Even though today I knew, I was like, we're not going to have great numbers. The turnout's going to be very poor, but at least I can get a few photos and a few videos to show that we're doing it. So hopefully other people can see, okay, they're still doing it, so maybe I'll show up the next time. It's just really like seeing yourself represented and then knowing that, okay, now that the equipment isn't a barrier, then the community also won't be a barrier and I can really get out there.
But getting out there doesn't feel the same for everyone. And for some of us, representation is part of what makes it feel more comfortable. Here's Willie Franklin.
It is interesting, you brought up that fact that we were so few in representation. And without that representation, we can't begin to change the narrative for folks who are not of color, who do not walk every day with melanated skin, right? When you look about your park area and you see people who look like you give no thought to their presence there. They're just in the park. Yet enter a group of folks of color enjoying that same space, and people will often ask, is this a group? Is there an event going on? All of a sudden, you're not just a citizen enjoying this nature space. You have to have a justifiable reason to be there, particularly in number.
I asked Willie what this year has looked like for him and what he's finding his way back to after a short break.
Lots of camping, lots of hikes, lots of birding events, and that's been just an absolute joy, and a lot of cycling. Late fall, I should say just before winter kicked in, late December, things slowed down significantly as I underwent knee replacement surgery. That went phenomenally well, and now I'm on the upside of movement and agility and getting back out into nature. The first excursion was 3 days ago, and I pedaled to the end of my street, which is only about 50 yards. And I could have cried. I mean, I felt so accomplished even doing that. Again, it's all about getting out and feeding the soul.
This season on We Outside, we're looking at some of the different ways we feed our souls out here. For WYSO, I'm Trey Grace, and we outside.
You can hear new episodes of We Outside every Wednesday in July and catch up on every episode anytime at WYSO.org. We Outside is made possible with support from Five Rivers Metro Parks and produced at the Eichelberger Center for Community Voices at WYSO, as is Veterans Voices. That's coming up later in the program. You're listening to WYSO Weekend on 91.3 WYSO, and it is an absolute pleasure to have WYSO's music director, Juliet Fromholt, back in the studio with us to talk about something that's ahead for the music department and really the whole Dayton area to enjoy. Let's talk about Tiny Stacks in its 5th year.
Yes, year 5 of Tiny Stacks. I cannot believe we've already been doing it for this long.
Yeah.
Tiny Stacks is a collaboration between WYSO, Dayton Metro Library, and DATV, and we bring live music into the library, not just in a quiet, subdued way, but we like to get loud in the library, and this is our 5th year of doing it.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, I think I heard that in the first 4 kind of seasons of Tiny Stacks, you hit all the library branches?
We did, yeah. Our goal initially was to visit every branch in the Dayton Metro Library System, and we did that including the Bookmobile, which was our final concert of last season. And so this year, since we've gotten through all the branches, we thought before we start another round and revisit all of our branches, let's do something a little different, a little fun. So we are doing what we're calling Tiny Stacks Reimagined on Saturday, July 18th at the main library. And it's going to be an all-day celebration of Tiny Stacks, of local music, and of this beautiful community collaboration.
All right. So that's an all-day or a half-day event. People have plenty of time to get down there and enjoy lots of great music.
Yeah, things get started at 11 a.m. So we're going to have 2 main performances and then some fun stuff in between. So our first performance will be at 11 a.m. in the main library in downtown Dayton on 3rd Street. And that performance will feature Sarah No, Matthew Bruce, and Amber Hart. So what we've done this year is we've invited some of our prior Tiny Stacks artists back, and we're putting them on stage together this time.
Oh, cool.
So the idea is that Sarah, Matthew, and Amber will play some of their own material solo, but they'll also collaborate or harmonize with each other, do kind of a songwriters in the round style thing.
Well, that's nice. It's kind of freeform.
It is, yeah. We so often get to, work with an individual artist or an individual band and spend a lot of time with them. And we know there are so many cool collaborations that happen in the community. We thought we wanted to honor that this time around. So that's at 11. That'll be a little over an hour of live music. And then you'll have a stretch where you'll be able to check out the main library if you haven't already. Maybe take a walk around downtown Dayton, grab some lunch. There is the new cafe in the main library, so you could grab some food right there. Throughout that time, we will have videos of all of our prior Tiny Stacks performances going in the library. So if you want to grab a book for the little ones, grab a cup of coffee for yourself, and settle in and watch and experience for a little bit, that'll be available to you during the day between the 2 performances. And then our second performance starts at 3 o'clock, and that'll feature Kay Carter, Tino, and Faith. And Kay Carter and Tino are both solo artists, but they also work together as Safe Money. So we, of course, wanted to put them together. They've both collaborated with Faith before as well. So that should be really fun to see those 3 artists working together.
That's really cool. Speaking of collaboration, it's a lot to execute.
Yeah.
And so credit to all the partners involved.
Yeah, this has been just the most beautiful collaboration. We have our library team headed up by Tanila Hicks, who's the head of programming at Dayton Metro Library. Our wonderful colleagues at DATV capture the video. And then our WYSO team, myself, Evan Miller, and Barry Leonard, we take care of all of the sound mixing, both for the live performance, and then our mix ends up being the audio that goes on our finished video product. So it's a huge collaboration. We love working together. all of us are nonprofits. Two of us are nonprofit media organizations. So it's a great opportunity for us to kind of bring our strengths to this and do something that's a little unusual and a whole lot of fun.
Anything else we should know about this Tiny Stacks concert or festival? And then I've got one more question I'm going to put you on the spot with.
Yeah, it's free. It's open to the public. It is family friendly. So this is a great opportunity to bring those young music fans out and let them experience some things that are happening in our local scene. Everybody from 0 to 100 plus should have something that they'll enjoy as part of this day.
All right. It's kind of a lofty kind of a question, but tell us how all this fits into the philosophy that you have brought to the music department as director.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of twofold. So we believe that music is public service. It sounds really obvious when you say it out loud, but I don't think we can say it out loud enough. Music is public service. It helps us connect with one another. It helps us process our feelings. It's a relief. I often say music is something you can sing along to, dance along to, cry along to. It does so much for us. And really, a healthy community is a community with art and with music. So I firmly believe that creating art and music in this community is important to the health of our region. The second way that it really contributes to our mission is that we believe that our public service goes beyond the airwaves. So we love playing music for you here in our beautiful studios. We love having bands in and having them play on the radio, but we also love being out in the community with you, experiencing live music with you. We love the chance to connect with new audiences, to connect music fans with their new favorite artists, and to introduce people to the vibrancy of our scene. So you get to do that at Tiny Stacks. You get to do that at a lot of events that will be out this summer, and we really hope that you'll come join us.
I think that mission comes through in all the WYSO music shows, but, personal kudos, and I often text you at Wednesday nights at 11 telling you how fantastic what you're doing with Kaleidoscope and the live local music there, and the great mix of CDs from artists that you're playing. So I think that really comes across. Again, just thank you so much for the musical kind of elements that you're bringing to WYSO production.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jerry. A quick plug for something new we're doing. We are starting to dabble in some video sessions because we've got this beautiful studio. Barry Leonard, host of Club Cuts, and our music department coordinator has been doing an amazing job capturing some of our live performances. Check them out on YouTube or check them out on the Novaphonic app. We have 3 new ones posted right now with several more that we've filmed and that you'll be seeing rolling out in the coming days.
Sounds good. WYSO Music Director Juliet Fromhold, thanks so much and good luck with Tiny Stacks 5.
Yeah, thanks, Jerry.
And for other events, you can check out WYSO's main page under the Event tab at wyso.org. Up next on this installment of Veterans Voices, Marine Corps veteran Zach Sliver talks with U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant Mantress Robertson and Senior Airman Jordan Johnson. They discuss some of the military's most dedicated service members, its canine veterans.
There's a Canine War Dogs Memorial in Veterans Park on Cliff Park Road in Springfield that honors military working dogs and the service members who handled them. As a veteran, I've always believed that every member of the team deserves to be recognized, including those who never wore a uniform but wore a collar. I wanted to learn more about military working dogs and the bond they share with their handlers. 2 local military working dog handlers with the U.S. Air Force joined me to talk about that bond. Mantress begins.
Yes, sir. So to become a handler, you have to go down to Lackland, San Antonio, Texas Air Force Base. Right. With that, you'll learn your basic commands, your dog history, health point checks. Then you'll go over your patrol, your detection training, your obedience training, which is probably the most important part, is the obedience training. Yeah. For the dogs in general, there's a mix, right? So you have your dogs that are born down in Lackland. They're bred down there, trained down there. Then we have the dogs that are vendors that comes from overseas, like your Germanys, your Europes, wherever it might be. Also might have some stateside vendors, right? They were brought back all to Lackland, and they all get trained down there. So that's what they're learning. 120 days. Sorry, I'm kind of long-winded. 120 days of obedience, detection, and aggression, which would be your patrol.
I mean, I just got back in February. I'll definitely say probably the challenging part about that as a new baby handler going in, probably the obedience. Because some of these dogs can be very frustrating. You have to really play it out and be exaggerated and really play along when you're praising them. You got to really praise them. The better you praise, the better they want to do it. They want to work and all that stuff. So I really enjoyed it. It was the praising part, and I really love it now. If you ask them at the kennels, I'm weird with my noises. So if I love it, though, I'm not embarrassed. So you're looking on the outside. You're not a handler yet. You're just looking at them, watching them do detection, all that stuff. But when you're actually handling the dog and you're actually telling it to seek and doing detection around a building or a big open area, and it's like, there's a lot of space. You got to search this whole thing. People depending on you. So end of the day, it is a life and death like job, so it's very important and can be challenging. So.
A lot of people think it's physical, where you're just telling the dog to do the commands or pulling them to that point. It's a lot more mental than you think. Whenever we're doing detection, I have to think about, is my dog really sniffing? Or is he like BSing and not doing the job? Right. So it's like a lot to go into it. And then at the same time, I have to worry about the whole area in general. What haven't I looked at? What haven't I searched? Right. So it's a lot more mental than a lot of people think about it.
Like you said, really just trust your dog. Also call him out if he's BSing. Bring him back have him check, if you don't feel like he's doing good enough. But try to meet him in the middle. So if he does good, praise him. Big parties, all that stuff. Like I said, and just keep it going.
You could train any type of breed to do that line of work, right? In the past, they've used Dobermans, so they use Rottweilers. A lot of those dogs kind of got phased out when they kind of figured out what type of dog that the military would be good for, right? Kind of went from German Shepherd, bigger dog, to now you see a lot more compact where it comes to your Belgian Malinois. They're able to move around a lot faster and do the job at a high capacity. So there's a big variety of the other dogs that do the job together, but it's also just about the stability of it. Does the dog really want to do the job? Because I can get a Belgian Malinois, he might not care about any of that, right? So you also have to look at, okay, yeah, we got the breed, but then we got to make sure that specific dog is actually good for the job. Because you can have the breed and the dog might not care about what you're trying to teach them to do. Yeah. So when military working dogs retire, they go through a process where either one of the handlers, last handler that it was on, would either get the dog or it'll go down the list from the handlers. If none of the handlers want them, the dog will most likely get kicked back to Lackland, San Antonio, and they'll go through the adoption process down there.
One of the dogs that recently retired is MWD Flex. We did his dispo. He's in Hawaii right now. Actually retired, living his best life, drinking pina coladas or whatever. So I'm kind of jealous.
I do not have a dog right now. I didn't want to get a dog and then also have to go to work, deal with another dog, and then come home and kind of neglect that dog because I'm tired. So it's kind of like, let me just wait a little bit.
I don't got one either for that reason. These dogs tire you out at work. You come back, I got to walk this dog. Maybe.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Veterans Voices is presented by Wright Pat Credit Union. Additional support comes from the Dayton Ombudsman, Veterans Transition Team, and Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission. Putting a wrap on this edition of WYSO Weekend on 91.3 WYSO. Thanks so much for tuning in this weekend, or if you're listening to the podcast, make sure your friends and family know about it. They can download and subscribe wherever they get their podcasts. Our theme music is Another Beautiful Day in Paradise. I'm Jerry Kenny. We'll be back next weekend with more highlights, conversations, and features. Join us then.